Hi, and welcome to part three of our video series where we're explaining the mark scheme for CSEC English A. I'd originally expected this to be one video. But then when I started doing the recordings, I realized I needed to split it up because looking at the criteria is one issue, but then going into the mark scheme itself, the actual grid, the rubric that you're seeing in front of you, is a totally different kettle of fish. So this is the rubric, the exact rubric for the second question in paper two for English A. This is the question that I call informative. I kind of forget what CXU officially calls this. I don't think they call it informative. I'm not totally certain, but I call it the informative question. It is definitely one of the two expository questions that come. The first one being summary, which we already looked at in part two. In part three, we're going to examine the bands. This question is a question that I do not particularly like. When it first came out, I didn't like it. I think the questions have improved. Um, this is the question that most people just think of as the format question, which is very misleading to your own self if you keep thinking of it as just a format question. This is a situation question, and here is how CXE assesses this question. All right, so again, we have our three bands that are on the left of superiority, competence, and incompetence, meaning that you're not really doing that good in it if you're in the incompetent band. Again, you can be assessed based on each category. The separate categories are content in the first column. I'm looking at the columns that are on the rightmost of the screen. The first column is content, the second is organization of content, and our third column is language. All right. So we saw the breakdown of these. If you want to check it back, you can actually read the syllabus or you can check part one of this video. Okay. Now, level one in incompetence demonstrates that you're not doing a good job. Level two suggests that you're not doing a good job, right? Obviously, being in this level is not good for you, but I'm looking at it. So, one, if you do score here, you realize what you need to do to improve. All right. I prefer that you know where you are, and I prefer that you realistically know where you are. Don't tell yourself that you're an 8 in language when you're a very solid 4. All right. You need to know that you're a 4 and what you need to get to an 8. All right. And the descriptions, which are in the center, and the largest, the widest column, they do give you, at least for language, a bit of an idea of the difference. Okay. So let's take it level by level, and we'll start with level one, incompetence, all right, which demonstrates incompetence or suckiness at the question. And this one and two in the center, they refer to the content and organization of content, total incompetence versus the level two incompetence. So level one basically means without a doubt, you definitely suck, right? Level one, you definitely suck. Level two, you know what? You suck, but there seems to be some hope for you to move up, right? And that's kind of how I think of the incompetence band in a nutshell. You will notice that across the board for all three categories, whether if it's content, organization of content, or language, it's 0 to 3 for level one incompetence, while level two incompetence, it's 4 across the board. All right. Now we're going to move up to competence, which is where you want to at least be. Now, if you're in competence, please don't think that it's the end of the world and your journey has ended and there's nothing else for you to do to get to the level you need to be. That is an inaccuracy. Um, what you do need to know is what should I do to get there, and with guidance from a teacher who gives feedback on your writing, especially if you can get individual feedback, you're going to have an idea of what you can do. All right, so we've got level 3 competence, suggesting that you are competent in this uh, type, in this question type, while 4, level 4 without a doubt demonstrates that yes, this person's got basic competency, right? So you've got to understand competency as being the basics. We've got the basics down. And if you look at the marks, it does suggest that yes, we can trust this person to write this document, 7 to 8s, right? Versus the 5 to 6s that you will get in level 3 suggestion of competence. Again, the description CXE has for content and organization and content, it really is not, it's not, you know, very clear. Right? It doesn't really create a huge distinction. What creates a distinction here when I mark it, this is what I do. If it sounds like, okay, this person knows stuff, I go with level 3 band. If it is that it sounds much more confident, then I would say it's a level 4 competence, right? Um, with language, again, you do have a definite difference. Language for level 3 competence, it's some ability to use it effectively, but with some inconsistency in accurate usage. So it's like, oh, it sounds good, but there's inaccuracies, and there's an inaccuracy, and there's an inaccuracy. Inaccuracy means error, okay? So you've got basically more errors, right? We're seeing stable sentence structure, but there are quite a few errors. And again, a lot of those errors tend to be past tense. Please get a hold of yourselves on past tense, right? You're really going to need it for academic writing. Level 4 competence in terms of language, effective, accurate, but with some lapses, and you're going to get a 7 to 8. So we're seeing great sentences, even much more impressive sentences, and that's in terms of the writing and the actual grammar. But we see some lapses here or there. Okay, definitely a lot less errors than for that level 3 band of competence. And then we get to the pretty marks in superiority. All right, the top marks. Level 5 suggests superiority at this level. Level 6 demonstrates superiority at this level. And for content and organization of content, again, within the description, there's not much clarity. Level 5 suggests superiority. So I guess you can always think it as nearly perfect, nearly awesome. Yeah. And that gets you 9s in both categories versus the level 6 demonstration of superiority that gets you 10s in content and organization of content. Um, Language is very easy to discern. You're going to get a level 6 language score if you have no errors. I think errors is key here because from level 3, you should be already be using effective and accurate language. Your effectiveness and accuracy really improves at level 6. Okay, I'm getting great sentences, I'm getting precise language. I want to weep as I'm reading your work because the sentences are so precise, concise, coherent. All right, but with level 6 superiority, I don't have any errors. Level 5, occasional error, right? Definitely much less than level 4 competence. Okay, and that's it. This is what the actual rubric looks like for question 2. So look out for part 4 of the series where we're going to look at the short story slash narrative rubric, which does not look like this. It does not look like this. Argumentative still has this sort of look, but the narrative looks pretty different. So we will look at that in the next video. Okay. If you enjoy this, of course, please subscribe and share it to your friends, your classmates, your relatives who need this information and don't have access to it. Take care. Thank you.